Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third-party review. Yes, I know I'm a little bit late to the party. I've been sitting on this guy for a few weeks now. Thanks to the team over at Show Z, we're taking a look at Capone. This is, of course, the DX9 take on a masterpiece Motormaster. What an absolutely absurd length of a box. It is absolutely massive. I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. That was my terrible impression of a gangster. We have Motormaster on the front there. Fabulous artwork on the top. Again, we have Motormaster in his vehicle mode. Back of the box we have a schematic picture of Motormaster with his elongated trailer. And then we have him in his bot mode as well. And this is a controversial figure. Basically, the trailer section itself forms a majority of the Menasor combiner. And then much like we had with the Zeta kind of aerial bots and their Bruticus, our figure basically slots in to the back. But as a result, we do have an extremely long trailer. I mean long. I mean, that's goodness gracious me long. That I would not want to be overtaking Motormaster on a highway, especially in a high wind, because that would terrify me. You just wouldn't be able to get past him. Just keep going and going and going. Just to give you an idea, that's the MP10 trailer, which, to be fair, is a fairly shortish trailer. I think ideally we would be looking around here for a trailer length for a cab that sort of size, but you know, I can see why they've done what they've done, and it doesn't look horrendous. It just looks like a really kind of long extended trailer. I just think they'd probably have more wheels on a trailer that size. Probably have 6 wheels at the back there as opposed to 4. First of all, let's take a look at the accessories that come with Capone. Now we get this massive Menasor blade. I mean, this is crazy big. Mine's a little bit hollow. You got a few marks along there as well, but that's absolutely insane. That just gives us something to look forward to. We have Motormaster's blade, which is far more manageable in size. Again, I've got a little scuff in the paintwork there already. We get Motormaster's gun done in this nice purple. Sprue mark on the underside. QC is not quite what it used to be with DX9. And we get this small bracket as well. Take a look at Motormaster himself. Truck cab is nice, tidies up quite nicely. Love those smokestacks on there. Actually looks very much like a refrigerated unit done the way that it's done, which is definitely not necessary. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. For those curious about the size, that's pretty good. Actually, surprisingly happy with that scale. His axle's a little bit short. I think he could do with just a little bit of extra length, but that's not too bad at all. I mean, it's a clean-ish look. Definitely not as much heft to this initial cab piece as there is to the Fans Toys version. I still haven't purchased the X-Transbot version. I do intend to purchase that. I just need to wait for the bills this month and then see how we're doing for money. But I mean, everything rolls exceptionally well. The trailer itself is ridiculously heavy. I mean, there's so much heft there. As far as vehicles go, still actually really like the size of these. I need to dust my toys, that's disgusting. I personally think that the vehicle scales are better, but they don't really scale with everything else that we've got in the collection, unfortunately. Motormaster definitely scales more with the likes of the regular MP10 or the MP44, whereas these, in my opinion, actually scale remarkably well with the likes of the Wei Zhang oversized figures. They look really good alongside those, as well as the new Hound as well. In vehicle mode, he works exceptionally well with the Wei Zhang figures. One thing in particular that I'm fond of is the fact that we have these open and closed doors. It's just a very nice small addition. I just can't get over how long this trailer is. It just keeps going and going and going and going. Right, now to get Motormaster transformed up, you want to untab these sections here, like so, and these panels are going to pull down and pull down like so. That allows this entire chunk of a piece to be moved over to one side. I'll tackle this shortly, but let's fix Motormaster first. At present, we're left with this very strange, easily handleable, easy to manage concoction, which is kind of a hybrid. It's a very small cab. I suppose you could always kind of like have that over like so, and you could paint a tunnel or something on the wall, and you could have this coming through the tunnel. It actually looks like the front half of the car that we had in Masters of the Universe, the movie, which is kind of just cut off. So, but yeah, anyway, I'm digressing, aren't I? We want to open these panels up, push down these smokestacks. These pieces here are going to detach from the center. Bring that out and bring that out. Not a huge fan of all of this being supported on this single pin. I suppose the idea is if you don't want it to be attached, you can undo this pin, and that would come off. I can't say I'm a huge fan of that, but we place this section down. There's a tab here. It's going to come over, push, and lock into place. Same with this side. Bring that over, push, and lock that into position. This front panel piece is going to split. These top pieces are going to come up, and again they're going to split, and these side panels are going to come around and lock into position. So again, come around and come on, lock into place. Bring the smokestacks around to the side. That is going to come down, and if you notice here, as we bring that up, clearance is minimal, but that's going to push and tab in. This is then going to flip around like so. That then compresses down, and they can then push back in on that hinge and lock back into position. This truck panel opens like so. That's going to rotate around, and that's going to push back in like this. This piece here opens up to form the front cab. This wheel is going to fold in. This is going to come all the way up. It's going to form a mini truck on the front. You see how that pulls that hinge forwards like so, and this piece here is going to rotate like so, and then this is going to come in. This tab comes back in. This is going to compress into that void like so. We have this front tab piece that comes down. These sections here are going to flip down, and letting gravity take its course, this section's going to come in, and that's going to help form a part of its torso. These arm pieces are going to untab from this wraparound all the way like so. These are then going to come just up and out of the way. Make sure that the torso is rotated the right way around for a start, so that the head is on top, for example, and we can then bring these torso pieces in like this. You want to make sure that the arms are up in the right location. This is then going to untab untab. This panel piece is going to fold up to the back, and then the hand is going to come out. This is then going to collapse like so, and then fold over and back up and around. There we go, and that cleanly forms the forearm pieces. Now these parts here are going to accordion. They're on a double hinge, so that's going to accordion in like so, and then we're left with this piece at the back. Lift the head up so that we've got room to push and locate these back panels in and in. Those are going to secure in. These are then going to push and lock in on both sides, holding everything into position, and then finally just push the head down, securing that all into place. And here we have him fully transformed up into his robot mode. Now, yes, he is not Fans Toys as in terms of animation accuracy, but he definitely has a playability level going for him. There's a lot of different poses we can get him in. He's light enough and holds together exceptionally well enough for us to mess around with. You know, there is a huge play factor that I think we've really kind of just avoided with our Fans Toys version. The Fans Toys version looks incredible on display, but I don't like playing around with him. There are things, maybe he's too heavy, or maybe there's too much involved. The transformation for this is simplistic enough. It's just not super intuitive, but it's fun. You know, I actually enjoyed changing that up. Wasn't really any huge areas that I had to avoid in terms of breakage, etc. The accordion section at the back there worked pretty decently. It's a nice looking figure. He's somewhat simplified, I guess, in terms of that animation accuracy, but at the same time he does have clean lines. He does smooth out exceptionally well. The backpack is more or less non-existent, and personally I think it works. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the official transformation now with the backpack. I believe these sections are meant to be up as opposed to down. I think that's it, but he's a really nice solid figure. He's not as heavy as a lot of the competition, but at the same time he doesn't really need to be. I was initially concerned about this front skirt just being one single piece, but you don't really need the legs to go up much further than that. And out to the side, really nice ratchets on this upper thigh rotation there. Gorgeous bend at the knee. Nothing's moving. Everything holds together remarkably well. I mean, we have an abdominal crunch, a really nice abdominal crunch. Waist rotation on a ratchet. No tilt side to side on the waist, but you know, it's not the end of the world. We do have some tilt on these feet. There is rotation up there, but nothing really else on these feet. Now, this kind of double stacked truck appearance on the front there, that I'm not a huge fan of. You either have this truck here or this truck here. You don't have both. That's my personal opinion. As for the arms, again, ratcheted joints out to the side on two joints there, so we can bring that all the way up. Really love how that works. I would like the butterfly joint in there as well, but again, I think we can make work what we've got. We do have bend on this elbow. Could have done with a double joint in there. We do have rotation. We have rotation on the wrist. We have a pivot on the wrist as well, which I think is essential whenever we have a figure that wields a sword. You know, he is a good looking figure. That's not the most G1 accurate of sculpts on the head, but I mean, look at the range. We've got really nice upwards motion, really nice downwards motion, left and right, no hindrance there whatsoever. You know, that is pretty much all I want from my Motormaster. That, and to be able to scale with the rest of my Decepticons. How does he look with his fellow compadres? Pretty decent. You know, I think they look nice together. I do need to get him a Decepticon insignia and fit that on there as well, but they all clean up very nicely. Yes, these are still some of the slimmest Stunticons on the market, and not to everybody's taste, but personally I think these look really nice, and I think if you've jumped on the DX9 wagon, you're not going to be disappointed. And in terms of other figures, Fans Toys definitely went big or go home, didn't they? Theirs is vastly bigger in size, but is bigger always better? I don't know. Personally, I think I prefer the scale of the DX9. I still prefer the aesthetic of Fans Toys. It does definitely have a better sculpt, in my opinion, but DX9 is fun. It's a good, fun toy, and I mean, scale-wise, he's still bigger than Prime. I mean, they're both leader figures, albeit Motormaster is only the leader of his own smaller unit, but still, you know, I think he ticks a lot of boxes. Now, let's take a look at the trailer. Apparently that's acceptable for storage of the big sword. I can't say I'm a particular fan of how that stores in there, but apparently it can store in there nonetheless. We can also slide the normal sword in this void here as well. Right, we're going to get this transformed up into Menasor's torso. Let's start by untabbing these panels from here, and this panel from this side. This is going to come up, and that's going to come up. This is going to come untabbed from here. This tab here especially is an extremely tight tab. And bring these panels around like so, and this panel here is going to lift up. Really nice ratchet joint there. There we go. This will turn around like so and fold inwards. Same with this side, bring this around, fold this section in like that, and as you can see, these are going to form the feet. Piece here is going to split as to the feet like that. Toes come up and toes come up. Next step, you want to bring this panel out. This is going to come down. Slide that all the way up. My goodness me, that is alarmingly long. We then want to twist the legs at this thigh joint so that this is the front, and again on this side twist it so that this is the front, and then bringing the legs up kind of ratchets it automatically into place. Now, one of these sides of this joint here is actually lower than the other, which is a bit naughty, so we need to rotate that all the way around like so, otherwise we won't be able to bring the legs all the way together. So then I can rotate this leg back round again at this, bring that up like so. There we go, now we can bring it around and bring this joint around. That's a bit naughty. Could have ended up damaging that joint, I guess. Make sure these are up. Hip skirts are going to come down like so. This can then come down. I initially thought that the legs were on wrong on the knee, but they're not. You need to untab this section here, bring this over, and just move these feet across. That now gives us room to basically bring this in. That's going to just push and latch nicely into position, and then we can bring that foot back round, and that's now formed the front of the shins. Top of the trailer can be pushed out from the underside, folded in half on both sides, and then these wheel panels on the underside can drop down into that void on both sides, push and lock into place. You want to flip this panel up on both sides, lock the latch, and this very stiff joints, but they do extend outwards. Personally find it easier to have this laying down at this point, but you can get your finger in behind this panel and that's going to detach. At this point you decide that you need bigger hands because everything's a bit much. Right, these just untab, they're tabbed in at that side panel. This is all going to form like a cube. It's all going to fold in. This here is on a hinge which rocks up. As you can see there's these panel pieces here. These are going to untab, he says, like so, and untab like so. You can probably see where this is going. This is going to come down and push. These are going to come in and lock in either side like so. This piece will come down. This is going to come around to the side. This will push and tab in. This will come around to the side. This will push and tab in. These rotate all the way around like so, and then this will now come up. As you can see, the shoulder will come forwards, and that will now come up so we can close off that chest piece. This panel is then going to come up like so. We can bring the arms down. These can then rotate, and this will push up and over, and this is going to push and secure all of this panel here into position. The arms are going to split, really tight joints. I find the wiggle until it comes undone method is the easiest, and then just unfold the hands. Just to give you an idea of how he scales, he is ruddy massive. Obviously we do have the option to then put the vehicles on the legs, etc. I'll do that when we get all of the rest of the team. I'll do them as a full combined form, the same as I'll also do a full comparison of the combined forms as well. But very happy with how he looks. He holds his sword remarkably well. Now, I didn't get an insect with mine. I believe it was a limited release with some of the first runs. I know some of you got a bug. I just realised I haven't sorted out his hip skirts. There we go. I didn't get mine, but there is a transforming bug which transforms up into a gun as well. But like I said, I was a bit late to the party with this particular version. But really good looking Menasor. Once we get all those extra bits on, and he's such a good height as well, and a couple of others there as well. We're going to end up with 3 teams of these Stunticons, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not going to keep all 3, I don't think. Do I? Do I need 1 in bot mode, 1 in vehicle mode, 1 in Menasor? No I don't, surely not. Be interesting to see what we get when we get the arms. It looks like they're going to split. So we have the top section which will sit up above the shoulders here, then the forearm section, much like X-Transbot doing. Very much looking forward to getting the X-Transbot Motormaster as well, just to see how he compares to this. Obviously he doesn't come with his trailer, which then converts into this, which is pretty much what DX9 have done, albeit they've given us the trailer with it. I know why they've done it. It's to keep the cost down, and not everybody wants to have a giant combiner. But at the same time, I think when I do get my X-Transbot version, I would have ideally liked it to have been the complete package, everything done there and then. I will cover the full articulation when we do the full combiner mode, but I mean, we do have an LED function in there as well. We have the ears, really nice sculpt in my opinion. Not everybody's taste, but I personally like it. Bit wibbly wobbly at the moment, but that's because everything isn't on there, and he is hollow. I haven't got Motormaster inside him yet. Again, that's something I will tackle when we do a full combined review. But for now, a very welcome addition to my collection. I will be displaying him downstairs as he is, with the rest of my Decepticon combiners, and then as the figures finally get their releases, we can then just add those to the setup, and we'll hopefully have a Motormaster or 3. Thanks again to Shozy for making this review possible. I hope you found it useful. If you have, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share, and of course subscribe. And until next time, from myself and the Shozy team, thanks for watching. Goodbye.